Zentrix AI. The advanced AI-powered trading platform for every trader. Everything you need for trading success. Research, strategy, automation, trade signals, all in one platform. Write strategies in plain language. We build the bots. Forex, crypto, stocks, futures. Every market. Let AI do the heavy lifting. Zentrix AI. The future of trading is here. Are you ready?
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the bell so you don't miss out on any uploads or streams in the future. If you haven't joined the Zentrix community Telegram yet, make sure you go do so. I will in fact drop the link for you in the chat. Okay. So yeah, if you haven't checked it out, make sure you go do so. You can find updates there regarding the project we have launched involving AI, utilizing AI tools to help benefit traders and help improve their insights to the market, whether fundamental analysis, sentiment analysis, technical analysis, developing trading bots, automated systems, developing your own strategy, and a lot more. Make sure you head over and check it out if you are interested. But guys, welcome back to another stream. As always, we'll go through the markets. What's up, Caribbean Kiddo? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. We'll go through the markets, take a look at the DXY, USD side of things first, go through the USD majors, of course, and take a look at gold and silver whilst we're at it. If you do have any particular requests, any pairs you do want me to take a look at, feel free to let me know. Put it in the chat, and of course, if there's any particular time frames as well, most of the time I'm on the 4-hour daily chart, maybe sometimes hourly as well. But if you do want me to drop lower or higher, let me know so I can take a look. But to start things off, we'll take a look at the DXY, the dollar. So we're still trading at a very interesting area where it's kind of make or break whether price is going to be bullish or bearish. We've been very consistent with the lower highs, and of course that has kept the dollar in a bearish trend. And we're back testing the upper level of the channel. So if price can see a sustained break of this, a strong breakout, that would make me pretty bullish on the dollar, and that's what kind of kick off my bullish bias. I'll be looking for pullbacks and more upside. If price does respect this and we see price push to the downside with some force, maybe a strong break of this counter trend line, that would make me pretty bearish, and at that point be looking for a new swing back into lows and probably some new lows from then onwards. So it's a make or break area. Depending which way we break will kind of facilitate the next swing we see for the dollar, the next swing for the week. Really just depends how we operate in this area. At the moment we do look pretty corrective, running out of steam, so it's going to take some doing for us to break to the upside and see some momentum. Likewise the downside as well, but we are kind of stuck at the upper end of the channel. So keeping a very close eye on the dollar right now. I'm not going to put forward a bias because I'm waiting for a bit more information. Do we break lower? Do we break higher? Then I can start to look to plot some opportunities, some pullbacks, some retests, especially with the other USD pairs as well, which are in similar situations. But of course, overall, dollar's in a bearish market. We've been falling since the start of the year. That is still very much the play. Let's see if we do break to the downside. But if we don't, I very much like the counter trend opportunity to the upside. Perhaps a retest of this area, forming some type of inverse head and shoulder pattern. There's your left, there's your head, there's your right shoulder, and perhaps we can take that maybe back to 100. Big psychological level there for the DXY. So waiting for some more information before we do put forward a bias, but keep an eye on this area. It's going to be very interesting to see how it does pan out for the week. Taking that information to Euro USD, which pretty much is doing the exact same thing, of course, just in the opposite direction, being inversely correlated. We can see that kind of pattern playing out pretty well. There's a nice area of confluence just below where Euro is trading. We've got the prior high here, the prior swing high taking that across, acting as support. And of course, we've got this lovely trend line connecting these prior higher lows as well. So it's been a pretty nice trend for euro. Overall is quite corrective, which is why I do think a big down move is on the cards for euro and a big up move is on the cards for the dollar. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, but we'll see. Maybe price does get here. Maybe we do reject very well. Maybe get a nice counter trend breakout, and then euro's looking very bullish after that. So I can see price go both ways, to be honest. When you are expecting reversals or a big downturn of a trend, it's always difficult to pinpoint exactly when that's going to happen. Price might want to continue to the upside for maybe a couple more swings before we do see the drop. So overall, you're kind of right to still expect the reversals, to still expect the down move, but maybe you see a one or two more swings before that happens. So trying to predict the high is always a very difficult thing, which is why I don't try to short highs and try and trade reversals outright. I'm always waiting for the market to make the move first, break structure, and then give me some lower highs, which I can take, and those are the trades I'm after. So Euro USD, if we are going to reverse, let's break to the downside, let's start coming back to these lows here, then I'll be more than happy to find some shorts. And again, nice head and shoulder pattern, left head, right shoulder. This is where my interest will be. But at the moment, it could still be very, we could still very much react with this level and see some buys come in. So just keep a close eye on this area around 1.165. I believe this will be a very interesting area for us this week. Pound USD, same situation, although we are starting to look a little bit more bearish. To me, it looks like we are kind of breaking out this ascending channel. So if I draw the ascending channel as such, you can see it kind of looks like we're breaking through now. The reason why I say kinda is because momentum is very, very sluggish here. It's not like we've seen a big bearish candle breaking through with some really healthy momentum. Overall, price is looking very, very corrective in this situation. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see us close back within the channel and start to see some momentum, to be honest. So I need to see momentum really pick up to the downside. Preferably, I want to see us break through this low here. If we can break through that low, that's a bit of a statement there to me for pound USD. And very much I'll be looking for a lower high to take that to the downside. And I'll smack pound USD on the watch list. But as of right now, we're not quite there yet. We still got some work to do for pound USD to pick up some momentum. We're probably waiting on dollar to pick up the pace as well for pound to really push through. I have been talking about this as a big area of demand, and rightly so. Nice brief consolidation there for a few days before a very nice rally to the upside. Generally speaking, I would expect buyers to be looking to enter the market in this area to try and take pound to the upside. So we're not completely out the woods yet. Yes, we're starting to break the channel, but we can always break back inside. It's not 100%. Nothing ever will be 100%, but I would still wait for a little bit more downside just to really make sure that, okay, we've broken structure. This bullish trend is coming to an end, and the pullback's looking good to short. So pound USD, keeping an eye on that. Not quite here yet, but that's kind of what I'm expecting to happen. As for dollar CAD, not really interested in this pair. I missed the buys last week, to be honest. I say missed, but I didn't really get an entry, to be honest. So I might have missed the move, but I didn't really miss a trade because there wasn't really one for me to take. The market was already very bullish. I remember as I kind of woke up on Monday morning last week, I believe we were already breaking to the upside. Yeah, we were already trading around here. This candle closed at 6 a.m. This one opened at 6. Yeah, so price was already having a massive breakout. I was talking about the double bottom here going into last week. That keep an eye on this double bottom. Very strong support. Very corrective move to the downside. So I'm expecting to see a reaction. And also, we're trading a massive area of demand on the daily chart. You can see here, lovely double bottom there, bit of a consolidation. Price absolutely flew to the upside from this area. A lot of momentum from this area. So naturally expecting some buyers to come into the market. Not necessarily in terms of, okay, I'm expecting another humongous move to the upside. Maybe we see it, maybe we don't. But I'm expecting at least a reaction in that area. And of course, it looks like we kind of got one. But dollar CAD is still a bearish market. Likewise with pound USD, we haven't broke structure yet. I would want to see price break this high here. If we were to take that high, then yes, I could be looking at somewhat of a reversal, something like that. But we're still a long way away from breaking that high. And at the moment, we're looking very fatigued right now, very sideways, very corrective. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we do push down into support. I mean, that could be a nice place for a buy. Let's see how price gets there. Let's see how we reject. That could be a smart place for a buy. Not necessarily for a humongous move, but even just for a reaction, even just for a day or two, catch the reaction of the level. Maybe we do fly, maybe we do come back down. We'll have to wait and see. That's where the management side comes into play. But at the moment, dollar CAD for me in the middle of nowhere, moving very chaotically. It's all over the shop, not looking good. Like I said, middle of nowhere, I would not be looking to trade dollar CAD until we at least get back to resistance, which shorts look good up there, or at least get back to support. And again, longs look good down here. Other than that, I'm not a big fan of dollar CAD's price action. Aussie dollar, almost forgot what pair to do next. Excuse me. As for Aussie dollar, again, still looking for shorts at the top end of the channel. So you've got this ascending channel here. Price has been very consistent with it, making higher highs and higher lows. I've been saying for the past couple of weeks now, I'm looking for shorts at the top end of the channel. Price has seen a couple rejections here in some very nice fashion. Just looking to see if we can get there again, reject it well, and perhaps capitalize on a swing back to the low end of the channel. Nothing special, to be honest. But yeah, price just hasn't been doing that. We almost did it a couple weeks ago over here. You've seen some momentum now, almost did it again. But yeah, well and truly, this is really where I'm waiting for price to get to. Let's see how price reacts. And if things look good, I'm looking to short. Because when price is moving like this and ascending channel like this, especially as corrective as we're looking, most of the time we do tend to break to the downside. This is not a sign of a market that is trending well, trending healthy. It's a market that's very tired and likely to break low. Of course, not always. Sometimes price will find some momentum from somewhere, maybe a catalyst, and we do break to the upside. But more often than not, we do see price break lower. So I'm at least looking for a push to the lower end of the channel. And then if I'm lucky, maybe I catch the breakout. But something like that, I think, is a trade worthwhile, especially if we can get a decent tight stop loss above the high. That could still be a pretty decent risk reward, even just back into the low of the channel. So keep a close eye of that for Aussie dollar. And New Zealand dollar, to be honest, not really interested with this one because the way I see it, price is in the middle of nowhere. Again, similar characteristics to Aussie dollar in terms of this ascending channel. Not as aggressive in the corrective nature, but we still do have the ascending channel, which again is quite corrective as well. We had a very nice rejection of the high maybe a couple of weeks back now. Strong reaction, price has seen some nice downside. I've been talking about price coming back to the lower end of the channel, just basically continuing this pattern, nothing special. And we're about 60%, 70% of the way there. We're finding some noise here, which, to be honest, as expected, I always say stay away from the middle of these channels or the middle of the range, because that's where a lot of the noise is, that's where a lot of the back and forth is. You're much better off just waiting for price to get to the highs or get to the lows and do your business there. Again, not that you'll be perfect and just hit winners non-stop, but it just makes a lot more sense, and that's generally the turning point of the market. So you have a little bit more going for you at those areas in the middle. It's a bit more 50-50, and we're kind of seeing that in the price action. Still looking for us to roll over back into 0.592, which is the low here. Maybe there's some long opportunities at the retest of that level, so maybe keep an eye on that. I'm not so interested in buying New Zealand dollar, to be honest, but that's the best bet I can see. That's the best opportunity I can see at the moment. Other than that, I would stay away. Moving over to gold. Gold's been an interesting pair. A lot of people were talking about gold on the stream last week. Yeah, to be honest, not a big fan of gold the way I see it. It kind of looks like a big consolidation to me, so just not happy with the pair at all. Don't get me wrong, in terms of the bigger picture, the market is still very, very bullish. You know, you look at this trend on the daily chart, we've been absolutely soaring to the upside. So in terms of the direction for gold, I think that's still clear as day. It's just at the moment we're having this weird kind of pause, but the trend is still to the upside, and my guesstimate would still be that price is likely to break higher. But then it comes to how do we trade that? How do we find entries? That's the question on everyone's lips. And as I said last week, I still very like this level here. It's kind of away from the noise, coming back into a significant level of support. If price was to get here, maybe wick through the low, I think this would be a very smart place for a buy. Not only because it's positioned well, but even if it doesn't go too well, even if it's just a small rally, it's still more than enough to potentially profit from, even if price does want to continue against us. But if it does work out, then you're sitting in a very comfy place. There's a pretty big swing to capitalize on there, maybe a push back to the high. So the risk reward could look very, very good from there. But of course, do we get there? I have no idea. On the weekly analysis, I also pointed out this level. I think this is turning out to be a very interesting level of support as well. Strong rejection once, another one there a couple of weeks back as well. So maybe we don't see a push back into this support level. Maybe a push to 32.50 is the one we might see. But again, this is proven to be a pretty significant level of support as well. So I would suggest if we can get down there, it's a smart place for a buy. Wouldn't want to be buying gold now, especially at the highs here, especially knowing that the market is in these conditions, ranging a lot. This is just an awful place to get long, in my opinion. Of course, it could play out. It's all probabilities at the end of the day, but I think there's far better places to get long. But yeah, I would still be bullish on gold, looking for us to break to the upside. I view this as like a big consolidation or a big pause for the larger uptrend. I'm not seeing any signs of reversal, so therefore I'd still be very bullish. But yeah, these are kind of the only opportunities that make sense to me, given how price is moving. And then silver, which is pretty much straightforward, to be honest, in terms of the analysis. Very bullish market, still climbing as we speak. Not too far away from 40, which is over here. And of course, you got the all-time highs just shy of 50, which of course is the larger objective for silver. So there's still a lot of room for us to move into. So I still quite like silver. Very, very bullish at the moment, but I think there's still a load of opportunity with it. Gold's been creating all-time highs for fun. Silver hasn't seen all-time highs since 2011. So well over a decade. Price hasn't made all-time highs for silver. I think that is very much overdue. Gold's been doing that for fun, pretty much every kind of week for the past year and a half. Gold's been doing that. Silver over a decade hasn't done that. So I think we got some catch-up opportunities here on silver. Been very, very bullish over the past few weeks as well. Nice consolidation over here. Sharp break to the upside. Nice consolidation here. Sharp break to the upside. So it would be brilliant to see silver come back for a retest of the high. I got a feeling maybe that ship is sailed. I'm not too sure if we see a big enough pullback. We might do. So again, definitely going to keep an eye on that. But I think I'll keep an eye on price, giving somewhat of a flag pattern, kind of creating our own support, maybe wicking through that a little bit and finding some buys off that. Normally not a pattern I trade too much, but taking into account how aggressively silver is trending right now, it makes sense. And I don't mind kind of taking that more aggressive trade, considering how bullish the market is. Not really a pattern which I trade too much because I'm always looking for the deeper pullback. But given the circumstance, I think it actually makes a lot of sense. But again, I'll still keep a very close eye on 37.2 down here. If we can get a pullback there, fantastic place to get long. So yeah, very, very bullish at the moment for the metals. Gold is bullish overall, but it's still a little bit choppy, but I think that's going to push eventually. Silver is looking extremely bullish right now. And I think all eyes on the dollar, really. What is dollar going to do this week? Right, we're at an interesting area on the DXY technically, and could be some nice opportunities this week. What's up, Poppy? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Welcome. Yusuf, my man, good morning. Hope you are well. Welcome to the stream. To Shepo, what's up? Hope you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. Yusuf, just in time, but I missed. Okay, no problem. Take a look. Excuse me. On the 15th, okay. We shall take a look on the 15th. I was looking on the full hour charts. I haven't really paid too much attention to the 15th, so we shall take a look, see what is happening. I'll remove my analysis so you can see it fresh. Okay, so we've got a very corrective market right now on the 15. It's been bearish for a while, but it's extremely flat, extremely corrective. We are just about pinching the lows here, but altogether the market is still very, very flat. So would I keep looking to sell this? No, despite that it still keeps going down. But again, when I'm looking to sell a market, it's because the selling opportunities looks healthy. You know, I'm seeing strength in the downwards moves, which give me confidence to look to follow that on a pullback and take some more shorts. If I'm seeing a market which is trending down, but only just about pinching the lows, having deep pullbacks, this is a market that soon I do expect to see a bit of a relief to the upside. Now, it might not necessarily mean a complete reversal. It might just mean that we have a bit of a deeper pullback at some point, and then maybe eventually we continue bearish. So that could be the scenario as well. But we are becoming quite corrective, I must say. So the buys aren't looking as, the sells aren't looking as attractive. I'll keep it short and sweet with Euro on the 15. If you're looking for like quick scalps, I think there's opportunities as price comes back into resistance. I would expect to see some nice reactions and a push down. I wouldn't keep looking for big swings though. That's my main kind of conundrum here with Euro USD. So I'm not seeing an opportunity because I wouldn't buy it yet. There's no bullish structure. Of course, the larger trends to the upside, so it kind of makes sense looking to buy. We are coming back into areas like this, strong area of demand, consolidated, nice break to the upside. See in a bit more detail if we look closer, nice consolidation, sharp breakout. As we do approach this area, maybe we do see some buyers stepping into the market from here. So we are looking extremely corrective, coming to some bullish areas on the higher time frames where maybe Euro does flip to the upside. But of course, we're not here yet with that price action. So I would refrain from buying and I would refrain from selling as well. The market structure is still bearish, but we're just looking very fatigued. Like I said, quick scalps could look good because if you can push back into highs, react well, you can see resistance doing a pretty good job there as well. So another push back into resistance, I feel like you can get a reaction 2, 3, 4 candles off that level. In terms of a sustained move, we might see another push down, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some upside pretty soon. So yeah, Euro, I'm just not a big fan of the price action right now. We're looking very corrective. I like momentum to kind of pick up before I would get short to show me that, okay, the bears are in control and we're likely to continue. And from a bullish perspective, if we are going to turn to the upside, I want to see a clean break of structure and then look at some higher low formations for a buy. So that's kind of where I'm at on the 15 for Euro. As for Pound USD, I'd imagine something similar as well. This looks slightly better. There's a bit more momentum to it. We are coming back into bullish territory almost. This is a very big area of demand, which of course funded this big move to the upside for Pound. So as we do approach this area, especially in a corrective manner like we're doing right now, I would be, again, not looking to sell the market. This is coming back into bullish territory. The fact that we've already been selling off for a while, the market looks a little bit tired. I do think Pound USD probably does see a reaction to the upside here. But I do think we still end up putting another low high in. I'm looking at the structure here on the 15. I like the high over there. I like the high over there. I like the high over there as well. And I can see price pushing to the upside to give us another major lower high and then perhaps another sell opportunity and another lower high, maybe on a retest of some structure. So I quite like the sells for Pound USD still. Again, a big part of that is us pulling away from this area of demand, pulling away from this bullish territory, because this is where I expect buyers to be coming in on the high time frames especially as well. But if we can pull back, show some nice corrective behavior in the pullback, successfully retest some of these areas, I would expect another lower high to form and perhaps another bearish swing as well. So that looks like a decent opportunity there for pound. I like the look of this. Yeah, I would wait for a bigger pullback there for pound USD. But I do have a feeling for pound that we are likely to break through these lows here. I think the market looks a bit too tired. I think if we were going to push the upside for pound, I would expect these wicks to have done their job and pushed us to the upside, but they didn't. Price lacked that momentum. We kind of descended very slowly. We maintained those lower highs. Price pushed down, and we are still trading in demand. Yes, we can still probably see a reaction. I still think we will, but I'm not expecting anything too big, and I kind of do expect us to break lower. Then once we do break lower, that will give me the green light to be looking to short the market, and I'll be looking at something like this. And again, if you zoom out, look at what we're doing on the daily chart, it all makes sense really. We've been trending to the upside for quite a while, so it looks like we're running out of steam a little bit now in this ascending channel as well. We've just taken out a major high. If you look to our left here, major high been taken out as well. Typically when price does take out major highs and major lows, you tend to correct afterwards. Sometimes it's a big correction, sometimes it's just a small one, but most of the time we do correct, and it kind of makes sense how price is looking. And of course, if you look at that on a daily perspective, it does look like we are breaking out that channel with that candlestick today. Of course, that's still yet to close. Actually, no, sorry, we broke out that channel on Friday last week. There's the current candle for today. I mean, that candle again is still yet to close, so I don't want to see price close back in the channel there. That will be a bullish signal. So as long as we can stay below, that keeps in line with the breakout from last Friday and the likelihood of us continuing lower. So pound to me looks pretty bearish. I think, I do expect us to see more downside, to be honest. Of course, I'm personally not looking to short it until I do see that break lower. That'll give me the green light to, okay, let's short now, or let's wait for a pullback to then short. But that'll tell me that, okay, the bullish structure is not valid anymore. And imagine we had all this momentum to the upside here. It's a very, very strong move. And then that just completely reverses. Yeah, I think pound is likely to fall. And of course, DXY needs to play its part as well. I don't think we're just going to see a very weak pound that just dictates everything. We have to see some strength in the dollar as well. And that would mean dollar breaking to the upside out of this channel here, which of course is going to take some momentum as well. So DXY is going to have a big role to play, whether it's going to break up or down either direction. If I do see the DXY close strongly below this counter trend line, that tells me, okay, the dollar's pretty bearish. We're likely to push back into this low, maybe some new lows as well. Likewise, if price does break to the upside of this channel, that will give me the green light probably on pound, the green light on euro, for some downside as well on those pairs. So again, for euro USD, if price does end up breaking out of this channel, maybe even pushing to these lows, I'll be looking at some type of head and shoulder pattern for some shorts there. I think I prefer pound USD. Looks a little bit cleaner. I think the setup looks a little bit better, so I'll spend a bit more time on pound, but it's the same idea as well. So keeping a close eye on the USD pairs. I think there's an opportunity coming. It's been a while since I've traded a USD pair, mainly because they've just been correctively ascending, and I haven't really been looking to try and follow that trend, to be honest, just because there hasn't been much momentum. So I've stayed back. I'm more interested with the shorts for the USD pair. I think that's where the bigger and the more kind of impulsive move would be. And I still got to wait some more, to be honest, because we're not quite there yet. But keeping a close eye. I've also been keeping a close eye on the yen pairs as well. Yen basket still looks pretty weak to me. I was, of course, shorting CAD yen last week. I did close that trade out as a slight loss. It was more around break even. But momentum didn't really go in my favor. You can see overall yen basket has been pushing to the downside. I'm still not necessarily convinced about a big sell-off here for the yen. I still think we can probably recover and see some upside, but I'm gonna wait for signs to prove that. It's all well and good to have that bias, but the market just keeps falling, keeps putting in lower highs. There's no point really. So I need to wait for us to actually start to show some bullish characteristics. At the moment, the market is still in free fall. But yeah, looking at CAD Yen, I did hop into a short for this one on this candle closure. Did see some nice momentum initially in my favor, but then we had this double bottom here, which was a big red flag, and a very strong close to the upside, which was a huge red flag. And then I ended up closing the trade around here somewhere on this open candle, which was just slightly above the entry. So managed it well in terms of getting out before it did become a full loser. But yeah, momentum never really picked up. The whole idea of the trade was, potentially can we find another one of these lower highs here? 1, 2, potentially 3. I think that's still a possibility, but difficult to try and really catch the high there. So I'm gonna have to be patient, let CAD Yen do its thing. Actually, I quite like the buys, to be honest. Now, if price was to pull back into this area, nice area of demand. We've got these high lows connecting the dots as well. I think that would be a nice place for a buy, depending how we get there, depending how we react, of course. But that's looking like a smart place for a buy. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Anthony, yes, we'll take a look at pound Aussie for you as well. Okay, so yeah, pound Aussie, that's been very, very bearish as of late. As you can see, a lovely bearish move there, and I think we've made a statement now on the weekly chart, on the daily chart, that price is likely to fall here. We've taken out COVID highs recently. We did that in emphatic behavior, very strong big candle to the upside, and we came down pretty aggressively as well. We've been consolidating since then, but the key aspect is the failure to create new highs. And I do expect us to have a deeper retracement at the very least, not necessarily banking on a reversal. I do think there is room for us to fall into. I'm looking at least for us to get back into some of these areas here. So I've been pretty bearish on pound Aussie. In terms of trading it, now is where it gets a little bit difficult, because ideally you want to be shorting at the highs here, not trying to find some entries down at the lows to keep shorting. You're shorting directly into support here. Even so, even if you do catch a nice short, price has already seen quite a lot of momentum. So I wouldn't be looking for anything too big, because I would expect a pullback to happen pretty soon as well. So it's just very awkward finding shorts here. Not that you won't be able to find a successful short, but it's just not high quality in terms of the area, and especially in terms of looking for a swing trade. The idea of a swing trade is to be in the market before the swing has begun. That would be in these areas here. Entering the swing trade here, you've already missed a decent chunk of the swing, and the market's a little bit tired as well. So I'm not a big fan of jumping to shorts now for pound Aussie, but in fairness, I do expect more downside. I would suggest maybe keep an eye on a breaking retest of some of these areas, but I think my tip would be keep it short and sweet. I did say I expect a lot more downside for pound Aussie, a push into this area, probably more specifically a push into this area here. So I do expect us to keep falling quite some distance, but again, I would keep it short and sweet, because at any point a pretty big pullback could come through, and that then could be the opportunity worthwhile to trade. So yeah, I would say keep an eye on the breaking test of some of these levels. I think from an intraday perspective, it makes a load of sense, but I just wouldn't hold into that trade for too long, because I think we've already had a decent move. We might still see momentum continue. I think a big pullback is likely, and to where, I'm not too sure. It's a big range we're kind of about to break out from. I'm not really liking the structure. If I had to short, it would be up there. Of course, I was short up there, but I did close the trade a bit early. But yeah, that's the only place that kind of makes sense to me. So yeah, I'm pretty bearish with pound Aussie. I do think we can break lower. There might be some short-term buys. I do have a kind of a swing bearish bias, so I'm not really paying attention to the buys, to be honest. But we are coming back into a pretty significant level of support. So I guess this is still a nice place for a buy. I'm not really seeing crazy rejection here. I'd like to see a bit more wicks, momentum shift a little bit more if I was going to pick some buys off here myself. But again, if I'm looking to buy here, I'll keep it very short and sweet because I do expect the bigger move to be to the downside. Nothing wrong taking buys. You're at a very solid level of support. Price could have another swing for all we know to the upside as well before it does fall as well. So that could be a scenario. So it's definitely an area that makes sense to buy. But again, I expect the bigger move to be to the downside. I do expect this level to break as well. So I would be very careful with the buys, monitor the trade closely. If momentum continues in your favor, stay in the trade. Maybe a big move happens. If you start to see some warning signs, some red flags, nothing wrong with calling a day and taking your profit there. But yeah, strong support, might see a bounce, but like I said, the bigger moves I think are likely to the downside here. And very similar outlook with pound NZD as well. In fact, they've been very, very similar over the past few weeks here. And of course, yeah, very similar pairs in general, but the price action is almost copy and paste. Nice uptrend, emphatic move to the upside. We came back down very aggressively. As of late, consolidating here, rejecting highs, failing to make new highs. I do think pound NZD is looking very tired right now and is likely to break lower. And again, I'm not necessarily calling a big reversal. I think it's just a pullback for us before maybe we decide to go bullish later on. Maybe you come back to retest some structure below us down there. But I'm looking at pound NZD with a similar kind of lens with pound Aussie. Price can push back into resistance. I think that's a smart place to go short. It's proven to hold price very well on numerous separate occasions. So if price was to get there again, I think a good chance is that we do respect it. Maybe we do wick through the high, maybe stop out some traders earlier. I think if you can enter after the wick, that's always a bonus. But in terms of direction, pound NZD, I'm expecting a pretty big sell. At the very least, a pushback into the low of the support, low of the range. We might not break through, of course, but I do think we likely will do that. We can discuss more when price is actually at that level. But for now, shorts look good at the high. And the beauty of it for pound NZD is that we're not too far away. Still pretty realistic to see another push into resistance and then catch a short there. Pound Aussie, we've well and truly pulled away from the resistance. And of course, at the moment, we're trading at support. So shorts over there, not looking likely at this moment in time. But yeah, pretty bearish on GA. What's up, CS Integrated? Hope you're well. Yes, let me actually go through the news for the week, see what we have cooking. But yeah, I think all eyes on the dollar. To be honest, dollar's been pretty flat. We've had some news regarding the dollar as of late. Hasn't really done anything too much. A lot of people kind of waiting for more information before they do put forward a bias. A lot of people like, okay, it's still quite bearish, but maybe it's time for us to see some upside now. I guess you kind of need a catalyst to get the ball rolling a little bit. I can see dollar gaining a lot of strength, to be honest. I think that's still where the bigger move will be. Maybe we do sell off one more time, but I think the bigger moves to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm getting ready for. Shorting euro, shorting pound. I know you already got some nice shorts up at the highs on euro, pound, Aussie, and NZD, I think. So you're looking very good there. Hopefully I can join you. But as for today, not really much today. Yeah, nothing really today. As for tomorrow, got retail sales for China. We got retail sales for pound all early in the morning, UK time, by the way. Unemployment rate for China as well, early in the morning. That's expected to stay the same. In the afternoon, you've got CAD CPI. You got US CPI as well. I missed that. So CAD CPI, US CPI. That should be interesting. As for Wednesday, inflation rate for pound, 7 a.m. in the morning. PPI for dollar in the afternoon, 2:15. Thursday, unemployment rate for Aussie. Unemployment rate for pound as well shortly afterwards. CPI for euro on Thursday. Jobless claims on Thursday for the USD in the afternoon. And then Friday, housing permits, Michigan consumer sentiment. So yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the brunt of it. You got CPI there for dollar, CPI for euro, CPI for pound, CPI for CAD, your unemployment rate as well. So a lot of news there, and maybe one of them, CPI for USD, I'm looking at, could be the catalyst to maybe pick a direction there for the dollar. Insights for the DXY. Okay, we'll have a look. I have bullish lines already. Well, for my analysis, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I get your analysis from last week. Cease integrate in terms of looking for us to maybe have a bit of a breather there. And I'm kind of looking for the same thing. We're not there yet for me in terms of how we're trading. We're still kind of, we've got this nice descending channel here, but price does really need to break outside of that channel to the upside. And you see a confident break to the upside for me to say, okay, I'm going to look for some buys in the pullback and take this to the upside. I think at least 100. I think we can go a lot further than that, but I think 100, big psychological level, I think price naturally be attracted towards that area. So, but yeah, the kind of the green light I'm waiting for is the break like this. And then I'm looking at this as kind of like a big V-shaped pattern here. And then I'm looking for the correction and then for the buy. And then this will be my opportunity, hopefully. On the other side of the coin, I can see a world where price rejects this and perhaps sells off back to the lows and see some new lows as well. So I can see price potentially falling. I would say as well that we are very corrective on the way up. As a wannabe buyer, I would like to see a bit more momentum than that. Again, doesn't really change anything. If I do see a healthy breakout, I'm looking to buy. But because we are very corrective on the way up, it means that we're not really seeing that strength in the buyers just yet. And maybe we just do roll over and the sellers do take control. But I don't know, maybe some news this week could change that. But yeah, I do have a similar bias. I'm looking for some strength as well. This is going to be my green light. And once I get it, if we get it, hopefully I can join you some buys and see some upside for the USD. Well, I won't be looking to buy the dollar, but shorting euro dollar, shorting pound dollar will be my options. Could be, yeah. Of course, if the USD kind of makes up its mind whether it wants to break down or not, it will set the motion, set the trend for all other USD majors, to be honest. So I can definitely see that as well. Ivan, good morning. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. Thank you. Buys for Aussie Chef. Okay, we'll have a look. Okay, bullish rally. Retest the neckline of the inverse head and shoulder on the full out. Okay, we'll have a look, see. So yeah, Aussie Chef, another market which I'm still bullish on. Mainly because at the price we are trading. At the end of the day, trading is all about just buying at areas of value, selling at areas of value. And this market, pretty much every time we do sweep the lows and make a new all-time low, we do have that recovery. So nothing new. I do expect us to see a lot more upside in the near future. It's just tricky trying to get long on it. We have seen some momentum recently, which might be the kickstart of that. Again, another reason why I like Aussie CHF to the upside as well is because of how correct we've been on the down move. Again, if we were selling off back to lows and seeing new lows, I would have expected more momentum. The fact that we are so corrective gives me the impression that we are likely to break higher. So you're talking about the break and retest of the inverse head and shoulder pattern, and I think I see where you're coming from. That's kind of the pattern you're looking at. Left head, right shoulder. Let me know if it's something else, but that's kind of what I can see. But yeah, I mean, it's a strong initial break. Price was very corrective here, and we've kind of set the tone there. And if we can keep this momentum up, which it looks like we're doing, it looks like we're stalling actually, but the way price is shaped up, to me, especially with the way we broke out, this looks to me like a big bull flag. So I do agree. I do think we can see a continuation here. In terms of entries, that's where it gets a little bit tricky. I mean, that bullish engulfing candle on the hourly chart looked good, which of course, actually no, that opened Sunday night actually. So as the newly candle opened up, we did see some nice bullish behavior. So yeah, I mean, you can even look at that as an entry, or you could say you want price to pull down again and give us another reaction. That could be something to pay attention to, especially if you want to get a nice entry in the lower time frames. But yeah, the way I see it, we're having a corrective pullback. We're having a somewhat of a bull flag to potentially continue to the upside here for Aussie CHF. It's a very strong break to the upside. I like the momentum, and things are starting to look pretty bullish here for Aussie CHF. But we haven't necessarily broken any major structure yet, so I wouldn't get too excited about a big swing. I still think that's the likely bigger move, but especially from an intraday perspective, if you can at least trade it back to some of these areas, you're sitting in a very healthy place. You don't have to be looking for the home run to walk away for profit. You can always leave some positions to run and take the bulk of your profit at these areas, which again, if you can enter in the low time frames, will still give you some very decent risk reward ratios. So as a whole, Aussie Swiss bullish, looking for upside. I do agree with that inverse kind of head and shoulder idea. I'm kind of viewing it more as a kind of a breakout of this descending channel, but it's the same idea really. And it looks nice in that channel here. So maybe a push back into support might be what you're looking for to find that entry. But yeah, I do expect us to break higher. And then we'll see what price does at this area here, because although I do think that's the bigger move back to this high, we are very consistent with the lower highs here. And I can see a world where we do put potentially another lower high in for maybe another push down as well. So being realistic as well. Yes, the bigger move might still be to the upside, but who's to say we can't have another sell-off again? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Aussie Swiss. Four time frame? Do you mean the 4 hour time frame or the 4 minute time frame? Yeah, neckline area interest because we have more touches there. Okay, yeah. No, I agree. We're seeing something similar to that idea. Break of the channel, break of the inverse head and shoulder pattern. It looks like price is basically just coming back to retest this kind of area of demand really. So yeah, I do agree. Oz CHF likely to break high as well. CHF is still a little bit strong at the moment, so that does need to turn around a little bit. I am looking across the board for CHF, and I'm looking at some other CHF currency pairs. New Zealand CHF, that is still looking like it's on its way down. We did see a bit of momentum there last week, but hasn't really changed too much, to be honest. CAD Swiss, most part still pretty bearish, maybe showing some signs of support coming into play now. But again, for the most part, CAD CHF really looking pretty weak. Euro Swiss, if we can spell it correctly. Yes, we can. Euro CHF is an interesting one because although it's extremely flat and just not going anywhere, the funny thing about ranges is that they are ranges. They are just moving sideways, but they're moving sideways until they give a breakout, and that's where things are interesting. And sometimes the opportunity is not when price is broken out. A lot of people, normally the opportunities where, especially in trading, especially in FX, the opportunity is kind of getting to the move before people realize it's happened or is happening. And it doesn't take Einstein to work out when a market has broken out of a range and things are looking very bullish and everyone can see, okay, it's bullish, it's going up, we're breaking out, let's buy. Everyone can see that. But before the breakout happens, if you can get in then, potentially here, where price might rally to the upside, might break out. Everything's a big might at this stage. But you look like a genius if you got into the market here and then we're breaking out and then everyone's saying it's bullish. You've already taken a huge chunk of profit there. And whilst everyone's getting in at the highs here, trying to take advantage of the breakout, you might be taking some positions off in terms of, okay, I've already banked some decent profit. Let me leave some to continue, but let me pay myself for that move as well. And of course, you do look like a bit of a melon sometimes as well if it does break lower. And we never did break to the upside as well. There's always risk. With every opportunity, there's always going to be failed opportunities as well. But sometimes with breakouts, you don't always get the retest. I'll probably say it's about 50-50 from my experience. To be honest, some breakouts, you get some very nice breaking retests. It will look like it's come from a textbook. Some breakouts, price might give you a quick retest and then go. So unless you weren't kind of looking at the lower time frames, you'll miss it out. And some breakouts would just absolutely run to the upside. Or they might give you a pullback, just not enough to retest and then continue as well. So sometimes the breakout doesn't always provide the best opportunities, to be honest. And I feel like it's just because there's lack of opportunity. Everyone can see the breakout, but sometimes the early trade is nice. Now, USD Chef, not my favorite market at the moment. It's still incredibly flat. Again, I don't mind the buys, especially if you're looking to try and trade ranges. It's actually a smart place for a buy here. I'll probably wait for some more momentum to really confirm the reaction. We kind of had a bit of a gap to the downside there. Nice wick, but no kind of momentum. Maybe a strong close like this will be a nice entry. Something like that. Stops below the low. And then targets to the high of the range. And then if that goes well, lock in some gains. And then maybe a breakout opportunity to some areas around here. Could be a smart idea. But similar buys there for Euro CHF as well. Pound CHF. Yeah, I mean, this one looks pretty bearish. It's quite funny. Some CHF pairs look really bearish. Some are quite flat. Aussie's looking somewhat bullish, but still got a lot of work to do. But yeah, pound CHF is still falling, and based on how everything's shaping up, I wouldn't be surprised if we do still keep falling back into support here. Yeah. Even if you do pull back, got this area here to contend with, which I think is a nice place to actually look to short. So yeah, not looking too good here for pound Swiss. Where was I? A dog, what's up? Yes, we can take a look at gold for you, no problem. Yusuf, my man, how you have a bullish bias in the DXY and the 4. Okay, I was looking at 97.9 level resistance ticking, and also okay, no problem. We'll go take a look at that as well. Yeah, so I'll go through gold first, and I'll explain that bullish bias on the DXY, which is actually a good question because the market is actually bearish. So why do I have a bullish bias? But yeah, as for gold, keep it short and sweet. To be honest, here it's a market which is ranging, but the caveat to that, it's a market which is absolutely very bullish in the higher time frame. So in terms of direction, I think everything is pretty straightforward with gold. It's an extremely bullish market. I wouldn't want to be doing anything apart from buying it, really. So in terms of bias, that's checked. That's solved. Now the question is, where do we buy? Well, because the market is extremely choppy, I want to be buying at support. I want to be buying low. I want to be buying at areas where I expect price to react, expect price to bounce. I don't want to be buying at highs. Absolutely not, especially with how corrective it is. If this was like a very aggressive trending condition like we've been here, buying at highs is actually not such a bad idea because there's a lot of momentum in the market and we're climbing high. That's the condition of the market. It kind of actually makes sense to buy at highs and buy at breakouts. In this condition, you can get chopped up very, very easily. So waiting for us to come back into significant areas of support is very much the plan. 3260 would be the first area which I would consider longs. I really like this area. I was talking a lot about this area last week, but this level is also caught my interest as well. Very strong reactions. If price can push there, it's away from the noise, get some decent stop losses below. and still take advantage of a pretty decent swing to the upside. You got the all-time highs around 3,500. That's still very much the target there for gold. So very bullish on gold, looking for buys at the low. Hopefully we can take it back to the highs at 3,500, but more importantly, new highs beyond that. So yeah, that's really the analysis for gold. I know we're looking bullish right now. I know we're about to take out these highs here, but there's nothing to do. I wouldn't advise looking to buy here. I wouldn't advise looking to sell here either, to be honest. So there's not a lot to say here for gold. I'm not seeing any intraday opportunities here. I really want to buy away from all the noise. But in terms of direction, you can see by the arrows there, I'm expecting a lot more upside. As for DXY, good question, Yusuf. Why am I bullish? Well, in terms of swing trading, you're always looking for the next swing. So if a market has had a big move to the downside, as a swing trader, I'm not interested to keep shorting this. It might still continue lower, but I do expect us to fizzle out and see a pretty big relief. Now, the overall trend might still be to the downside, so I might be looking for a pullback to short, or I might be trying to capitalize on the swing to the upside, on that counter trend move, which might turn into a reversal, or it might just be a short counter trend move, like I said, before we do continue. But in terms of where the value is, it's now to the upside. Everyone can see DXY is bearish. Everyone's been trying to short the dollar. Of course, there'll be people trying to buy the dollar, of course. But the market's already done its business to the downside. That trade is over. If the market is still going to continue lower, I'd like us to pull back and then continue. Find some new life, and then hopefully I find some nice shorts along the way to take advantage of that. But I'm not interested in shorting anymore. Like I said, maybe the market does still head lower a little bit, but I would expect a bit of relief. In FX, we don't head to the upside for too long or to the downside for too long. Of course, sometimes we will. There's a big move there, but again, eventually it did push down, eventually did push up, eventually did push down, eventually did push up. It's the same with this move here as well. So from that reason, I'm looking for buys because I'm expecting us to eventually retrace. Secondly, also how we're moving as well. It's quite corrective in this channel. If we were like dropping hard, seeing a lot of momentum, having really corrective pullbacks, then yeah, I would still look to short the market, because even though we have been falling for a long time, I'm still seeing evidence of a healthy market, and I would still bet on this trend continuing. I wouldn't necessarily bet on this trend continuing because I'm not really seeing too much momentum in the bearish legs, and altogether it is quite corrective now. The market has gone from very aggressive moves over here where things were looking very healthy. You can compare this bearish leg here, compare this bearish leg here, compare the bearish leg here to now what we're seeing over here. It's a clear difference between the market structure. So not that we can't keep falling. Yes, we can. I think from an intraday perspective, sells still make the most sense. But from a swing trade on a 4-hour time frame, I'm looking for the up move. Like I said, maybe we still do see one more push down before we do see an up move. The thing about reversals is that timing is always a bit difficult. It may happen now, maybe it's not to happen until next week, I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of the reasoning. It's more of an expectation of the market being bullish rather than evidence that we are bullish right now. I'm seeing signs that momentum is slowing down, so I'm expecting us to be bullish soon. And that's pretty much it. I'm expecting us to be, we might still be bearish. I have to wait and see. But in terms of the buys, just waiting for a strong break to the upside. That's what I'll be looking for. In terms of the sells, a strong break of this counter trend line. And yeah, I would be pretty bearish on the dollar if that was to happen. Anthony. Yeah, gold is cruising nicely. But can we see approaching traffic at 33.94? Okay, just read. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. If we can, of course, start breaking resistance, then yeah, gold's gonna fly. I think also knowing that silver's flying as well, maybe you do see that kind of translate to gold a little bit, because they kind of tend to fly together. most of the time. So maybe we'll see a bit of upside like that, similar to silver, but the conditions are very choppy, so it's not really a market which I'm so keen for breaking retest on. Maybe if I see a strong break, that the retest there might look a bit more attractive, but a strong break is absolutely needed, because the way price is moving at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if we do break the high, but then we do push right back underneath it as well. So it's still choppy conditions. I'm not such a big fan of it. Again, when things are choppy, I want to be kind of operating at the lows or at the highs. And I've drawn up two nice levels here. Again, this is more from a swing bias. I know you're probably a bit more intraday, but from a swing bias, these areas look really good. Of course, will price get there? Maybe not, maybe it does, but those are the areas I'm keeping an eye on. If we're looking at the retest of this area, around 33.64, I like to see a strong break of that with some distance, then yeah, sure, I'll keep an eye on a retest. And that could end up being a nice buy back into the highs there at 34.40. And then we can speak probably on the all-time highs at 3500. But yeah, bullish bias for gold, absolutely. Just looking for quality opportunities to trade and just being careful of the conditions, because I know a lot of people will be chopped up back and forth here, because the conditions aren't particularly great. So being careful of that. But yeah, I would keep an eye on buys there. The run, when we're going to correct, what do you think? Again, I think they were not fortune tellers here, we're traders, big difference. So in terms of when price will correct or if price will correct, we can always speculate, but yeah, in terms of the absolute certainty, we have no idea really, to be honest. Like I said, I would wait for a strong break of the high here. That would give me confidence that, okay, this level could probably hold. It is very, very choppy, so this is not the best conditions to be looking for breaking retest, to be honest. You rather look for price to be at support, with the back against you, with your back against the wall sort of thing, in terms of coming into some big levels, putting stop losses underneath those areas. These are much better places to buy from, even from an intraday point of view as well. So not the biggest fan of the breaking retest because of the conditions, but if I was to see a strong break, some healthy momentum, I think that could also be a nice buy. When will it correct? I don't know. The question is, if it does correct, is there an opportunity? That's really the question we should be asking. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. There's some areas to our left here. Maybe we do make a nuisance of ourselves here. So maybe these areas here, but maybe not as well. So I wouldn't necessarily be too concerned when price will correct. Just keep an eye out to see if it does, and does it present an opportunity. That's more so the question you should be asking yourself. See, it's integrated. Yeah, true, of course. I think if you're not sure, just probably don't place a trade, to be honest. Because even if you are sure, you don't want to be, okay, I'm sure, let me not place a stop loss. I think a stop loss is mandatory. Of course, some people don't trade with stop losses, more like a mental stop loss. I always have an electronic one, peace of mind. I don't have to stress too much when I go to bed and I've got a position, because worst case scenario, the stop loss will be hit. So I'm always a big fan of stop loss, whether confident or not. But again, if you're not confident position, don't take the trade, because the thing is, when you're taking trades, you're not confident, you're not going to manage it well, which is the biggest thing of them all. Because you could take a great trade, you might not be confident in the trade, but it might be a great trade in hindsight. But because you're not confident, you can be more emotional. Any kind of push for you or against you is going to feel 10 times more kind of shaky, and you probably end up closing the trade early, to be honest, or doing something you probably shouldn't do. Again, as you gain more experience, you get more confidence naturally, and especially if you have the same approach, you get more comfortable with it. That confidence will come. But yeah, if you're not too confident with the price action, chuck the trade in the demo. No need to to take unconfident trades on your account. LFTJ, Civil Engineering, funny enough. Dan, GUGJ, sure thing, we'll take a look. No problem, Yusuf, happy to help. Anthony, nice. These were gonna bleed, but swing trade, not intraday, guys. Long term set. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. To be honest, I think long term DXY is still likely to fall as well. Of course, I'm looking for buys at the moment, but long term in terms of like 6-12 month analysis, I think dollar probably still does have more to give to the downside. To be honest, but yeah, in the moment I am looking for some strength here. But of course, gold is still a very bullish market. Despite the messy price action we've seen, there's been no kind of signal to tell us that this trend is going to end here. So that's why the bullish bias has stayed true, despite the kind of choppy conditions we've had. But we'll see if that momentum can well and truly pick up. That'll be the important thing. But in terms of pound USD and GJ, I haven't really looked at the yen pairs yet, have I? So yeah, in terms of pound USD, and pound yen, very similar pairs, to be honest, but yen and dollar have been on opposing ends a little bit. Not really, actually. But yeah, GU starting to break to the low of this channel, so things are looking pretty bearish here, and perhaps we could be seeing a big counter trend move, and that's kind of what I'm getting ready for. You can see we have been bullish for a while since this low. Nice, healthy uptrend, higher highs and higher lows. Price did take up this high here. And since that's happened, I've kind of backed away a little bit with GU, because in FX, when we do take up major highs like this, buying after that is not always the best thing to do. Normally the market's getting ready for a pullback. So unless I saw a very big breakout, some really healthy momentum and a big explosion to the upside, then yeah, maybe I would have looked for pullbacks and buys there. But ever since that high has been created, I've been a bit cautious trying to buy pound USD. And it looks like for good reason, because we've been corrective here. It looks like we're starting to break the channel to the downside with Friday's close on the day chart here. And if we can continue to see more downside and break this low, that will really make me bearish there on pound USD. And then the plan would be a pullback, a lower high somewhere, shorts. I'm looking for a big move, maybe back into support down here, which might be a nice area to pick up some longs again, to be honest. Because I still think the bigger move for pound USD is still to the upside. I just think we are due a bit of a pullback before perhaps we do continue. So I do like pound USD to the downside. I do think there's a bit of a counter trend move there. I do think the bigger move is still to the upside. But I guess we can speak more about that when we do get to those prices. But for now, not interested in the buys. It looks like we're breaking out the channel. Not really seeing much evidence of bullish momentum coming to the market. So I do think we will bleed. But in terms of me actually looking to play shorts, I do need to see that break of the low. Take out this low here, then I can start to look for some shorts. But that is the plan. That is the plan there for pound. There might be some intraday opportunities on the retest of this area. We spoke about that on the 50-minute early in the stream. So keep an eye on that. I'm looking for the bigger move and the bigger swing. But I think we can see evidence of that happening slowly. In terms of GJ, so GJ is an interesting one. Of course, yen's been pretty weak, so we haven't really seen much downside. We have come back into a pretty big level of resistance here, 199.587. You can see massive resistance there as well. So to me, price is coming back into a pretty big level here, where I do think there's room to the downside. And at the same time, looking at the 4-hour chart, you can see how corrective the market is. When a market is moving as correctively as we're doing here, most of the time I do expect price to break lower. Yeah, I do expect price to break lower. And then, of course, with the added fact of us bashing into some major resistance, maybe pound yen does need a bit of a breather. On the same, well, if you look at euro yen, euro yen's been very, very bullish, and normally pound yen normally does copy euro yen and vice versa. So if pound yen is going to do what euro yen is doing, which is looking absolutely bullish, if you have a quick look at euro yen, so you can see euro yen came into a similar level of resistance a while ago and absolutely smashed through that. If pound USD is going to copy, not pound USD, sorry, pound yen is going to copy, we need to, of course, see a strong break of this level, and then we can start talking about breakout to here, and then the plan will just be buy the pullbacks on the way up. At the moment, it's a bit 50-50. We are rejecting resistance, but not in incredible fashion. We had a strong rejection there, but to be honest, it's looking very corrective on the way down. So this doesn't look like a big rejection to me. It looks more like a pullback, to be honest. So we might do this and go and have another attempt at the high again. There could be some more buys at the low of the channel. It's been very, very consistent. You've got a nice area of demand there to your left. And of course, you've got the consistency of all these higher lows. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, who's to say we can't see number 7 coming back into a healthy area of demand to our left? That could be a very nice place for a buy. So the best opportunity I can actually see for pound yen is actually a buy at the low here. It's still up in the air whether price is going to really reject this or break through. I think we probably will break through. I think pound yen probably will follow what euro yen is doing. So that's kind of my best guess, but we'll wait for the breakout and then we'll start to talk more about the longs once we've seen that. But as for now in the 4-hour chart and lower, I think this is the best bet in terms of high probability move, especially after seeing a very corrective move down. This stays nice and corrective. Of course, we see some healthy rejection down there. I think that's a very smart place for a buy, and you could be looking at push back into resistance. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound yen. And of course, if we are going to have a big reversal, then I do want to see us break out the channel altogether. Then I'll speak about the shorts and probably move right back down into these to these lows, and probably even further as well. But we'll wait for that to go into a bit more detail. But that's the best I've got right now for pound yen. Some buys around 197 and a push back to 199.5. Lighton, my man, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Aussie Swiss and dollar yen and ZAR after request bears, no problem. We'll take a look. I haven't been keeping up to date with ZAR, to be honest, so I haven't really seen but what's been happening with that one. But Aussie CHF and dollar yen, I mean dollar yen, I haven't really been paying attention too much. It's not really a pair that's been on the watch list because it's been quite choppy. Aussie CHF, we spoke about this one a little bit earlier. I like the buys for Aussie CHF. Again, a bit more aggressive play because I wouldn't say Aussie CHF is looking overly bullish. I would still say major structures still with the bears. You know, still seeing lower highs here on the way down. I said we could still see a push to the upside here, but yeah, we could still very much put another lower high and continue falling. So in terms of what I'm seeing here with Aussie CHF is that yes, the market overly is still bearish, but we are coming from all-time lows, sorry. And I do expect us to have a pretty strong recovery. You know, price is still pulling down here. I do think price can very much see some upside and recover from that. So looking at Aussie CHF in the longer term aspect, very, very bullish. Shorter term, bullish as well, but only towards 0.52527, only towards this area. Then we'll see what happens. Maybe price does break through. Then I can speak about the bigger buys. Maybe price does start to form a lower high and we can start to come back down. But I like the way we broke out this descending channel. Price is looking very, very corrective here. Very strong break there. Really nice momentum. And it looks to me that price is respecting some resistance here. Turn support. If I drop to the hourly chart, I'm getting, I'm looking this as a nice bull flag opportunity. So strong break to the upside. There's your flag correction. Looking to buy in the low and expecting us to continue back to highs and go and test that area up there as well. So yeah, Aussie CHF pretty bullish to me, expecting more upside. But again, the bigger move, I'm not too sure yet. I need to see some signs of us taking out some of these highs. Then I'll look to follow that. I'll take a look at dollar yen and USDZAR next. Kingsley, what is up, my man? I'm doing good. Yes, we're about to take a look at USDZAR. USD looking for a sell, okay. Aussie NZD looking for a sell as well. Another pair which I haven't actually been paying too much attention to, but we will take a look. Let me go take a look at dollar yen. So USD JPY, what have you got in store for us? A lot of choppy behavior. So dollar yen, I'm actually still pretty bearish with this one. I do think longer term, there's a good case for us to actually go and break through 140. At the moment, we've had a nice rejection. We're not really seeing momentum creep to the downside anymore. There's a pretty big level above us over here, which I think maybe long term we're going to see a push into and reject well. And who knows, maybe form another lower high. We've got one over there, second over there. Perhaps do we form a third one? And do we use that to our benefit for a nice short and a push back into lows? Again, I'm just speculating now, but that would be a nice area of confluence on the higher time frames. As for the more kind of immediate price action, I would say keep a close eye at resistance here. I think this is also a nice place for a short, but it's basically just range play. You know, the market is very sideways for dollar yen. We respect support on numerous occasions. We're back at resistance. If it rejects well, as we've done on 3 separate occasions, this could also be another place where we do see some downside. That's the best I've got for dollar yen. Like I said, there's still that opportunity on the weekly chart for a bigger pullback to form that next lower high. That could come over the next few weeks. But in terms of right now, and again, you don't have to be looking for a big swing to the downside. You know, even a push to 50% of the range is still a decent trade. You don't need to be looking for the 50%, to be honest, but you know, this is a rough area for the 50%. Even a push towards if I can get the arrow, there we go. Even a push towards the 50% is a decent trade, especially if you can get a nice entry like an hourly time frame. That risk reward could still end up being a nice 1 to 2, 1 to 3 potentially. So that's a cracking trade within itself. But you're basically just looking to short the high essentially of the range. If you do see a healthy rejection, I do like the shorts here. And another reason why I like the shorts is because we have been trending to the downside for a while. So overall, dollar yen is still a bearish market. So you still do have that kind of natural advantage with the trend there. So it does make sense to short. But if you do end up breaking to the upside and price has a convincing break, then the area of interest will shift to more 151, 152, which is kind of where we got that big weekly level trading at. And then, yeah, we'll see what price does up there. But yeah, dollar yen, the reason why I haven't been focusing too much on the pairs because we have been quite flat. But we are approaching resistance now where I think shorts do make sense. So keep a close eye on that. And in terms of USDZAR, let's see what this one's been up to. Okay, some upside. I think last time I looked at it, we were here somewhere. So price has recovered a bit. I still do have that bearish bias for a push into the low here. I like the way price smashed into highs here, rejected it very well. So I do think eventually we're going to go and tap the lows here. But maybe a deeper pullback is still needed. You know, price taking out some of these lows. I do think price can push up here, pull back, and then see a continuation back into support there. We are pushing into some supply right now, resistance now, where again we could see some downside as well. We might push into this level and drop back into support, see a push into this low. But that's about it. That's kind of about it in terms of price action this week, because we are becoming quite corrective here, and we have been falling since the high here as well, since mid-April. So if we keep up this corrective nature, I think we will get a decent up move. Again, I still think we'll probably top out and come back down, but I can sense something like this is forming here for USDZAR, so I will be a little bit skeptical of that. At the moment, structure is still being maintained. This is a lower high, which gave us the low. So as long as price doesn't break through this high, yeah, we still stay bearish here, at least on the 4-hour chart. But this looks like a nice area for a short. Price is doing a good job at respecting it now. Maybe a nice double top. That could be a decent trade back into support. Then we'll see where price goes from there. Yeah, we are becoming very corrective. So that's a bit of a red flag there I think a bit of an up move is on the cards. Maybe USDs are kind of waiting for DXY to get the move on. DXY doing something similar, very corrective on the way down. If the DXY eventually does spike to the upside, maybe that's the catalyst to get USDs are moving in that manner as well. But yeah, still bearish for the most part. So as long as we're respecting this 17.95 area, shorts are looking good, but be careful. We are really lacking momentum now for the bears. Euro NZD we'll take a look at next for Kingsley. UJ in the 15. Okay, we'll have a look. Tamil Euro Yen as well, no problem. So you're looking for a sell for Euro NZD. I like it. I'm actually pretty bearish on the pair myself as well. But we have to be respective of what price is doing at the moment. It's still pretty bullish, so we have to be careful of that. You can see it's been a very nice uptrend, higher highs and higher lows. But again, I'm not quite convinced. I do think we're just pulling back to continue lower. It's been a very corrective move now. There's not much momentum in the market anymore. I do think we're getting ready for a big sell. There's an aggressive idea here, a test of this consolidation, because it did spit out quite a nice momentum there to the downside. So perhaps this is forming a top here. Prices consolidated, broken to the downside, now retesting the range. And perhaps now we do see some downside. So that's a bit more of an aggressive idea. The reason why I say it's aggressive is because no significant structure has been taken out. We are still very consistent with the higher lows here. So the market is still very bullish. Taking shorts here is very much going against this trend without significant signs that the market is going to be bearish. The only thing you got going for you is a bit of momentum here, really. So it's more of an aggressive trade, the retest here, but it could play out. And the beauty of it playing out is that you're well positioned to capitalize on a big trade. Because if this is going to be the lower high, and if it does start trending down, I think we got a good bet for us to come back to these lows. And you got shorts right up there, so you could be looking at a very big risk reward, and you can sit on that for a while potentially. So the benefit is you're shorting before the market's well and truly bearish. So if it does play out, you're positioned very well to take advantage of that trend. The downside is a bit more aggressive trade, more likely to fail. We could still very much easily see some new highs. So that's the caveat to it. If you're looking for the safer entry, you would wait to see if price does respect this area, create new lows, and then look for the next lower high. And if it can take out one of these lows with it as well, that would even give you a bit more probability that the price will move to the downside. But yeah, I'm expecting a bearish trend to form, expecting us to top out somewhere and push back into support essentially. So the bearish bias for USD is still there. There's an idea here for the retest of the range. It makes sense, just more of an aggressive trade. And again, aggressive doesn't mean bad as well. Don't get it twisted. Taking aggressive trades are good trades, to be honest. They're just more aggressive in nature, more likely to fail. That's the only caveat, but normally bigger risk rewards if they do play out. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking at for Euro NZD. And in terms of Aussie New Zealand dollar, yeah, a pair I haven't paid too much attention to, so I just need to look at the higher time frames a little bit more. Just see what's up. Yes, it looks horrendous, to be honest. That's the reason why I've been paying too much attention, because I don't like the higher time frames. But for the most part, we have been pretty consistent with this trend line here. I do think eventually we'll probably see price break higher, but let's not get into that, because that could still be for another 2 years potentially. So, when I first got into trading, that was almost a decade ago, Aussie New Zealand dollar was in a big range. To this day, we are still within that same big range. So that just explains why I haven't really been focusing too much in this pair. So yeah, the market is still very much flat. Yes, it's doing a pretty good job with this trend line. We're seeing some upside. Looks like we're about to push back into consolidation up here. That's probably where some sellers are sitting to try and push price down. Drop to the 4-hour chart. It's a bit difficult, to be honest. I mean, I like the supply area. It's nothing special, though. It's nothing to say, okay, yeah, that's 100% short here. It's a potential area. It might give us a move down. It might not. I'd suggest wait to see how we operate in that area. And then similar to the UNSD one, wait for structure to shift and then perhaps look to try and capitalize on the lower highs somewhere. and keep it short and sweet with Aussie New Zealand dollar, because we are corrective. We don't trend to trend too long. From the way we're operating on the trend line, it does look like the bigger move is still to the upside for UNZD. So yeah, I'm not a big fan, to be honest. I'm not a big fan. I like UNZD. There's opportunities there, and likewise with Aussie New Zealand dollar. But in my eyes, and again, I'm just giving you my honest opinion, I'm not liking it as much. But there's an area of interest there. Let's see how we operate. If of course price doesn't show much respect to it, then I'll leave it alone. UJ on the 15, we'll take a look, and then we'll go for Euro Yen as well. Tanya, the pair is in the middle of the screen there, and the time frame as well. If you do want me to make it a little bit brighter, let me know. I can do that if it's not that visible. Change that to like a 15. I don't know if that's made much difference, but it is in the middle of the screen there. Okay, so let me go for UJ15. So UJ15, oh, look at me, typing UJ15 there. USD JPY. And then let's go to the 15. So dollar yen in the 15. It is bullish. It is bullish. We're seeing some nice uptrend, although we are becoming a little bit more flat now. You can see with the equal highs there, so price is kind of running out of steam a little bit. And I think we'll probably do a bit of a pullback for this one. I would keep an eye on support here. I like this support level around here. It lines up pretty well with the high there as well. And of course, still keeping up with our higher lows. And there's a lot of noise here anyway. Your price is kind of failing at highs a little bit, seeing a lot of wicks. I like price to push away from all of that back into support, and maybe from here we can see some upside, another reaction, and maybe another higher low as well. So 15-minute UJ bullish bias. I'm just seeing a clear uptrend here. We've broken through some resistance. There's some resistance above us around the 147, 148 mark. 147.7/148 area. So I still think there is more upside for us to go and retest. But yeah, if I was looking to try and buy dollar yen in the 15, I want us to get away from all the noise here, push back into healthy areas of support where a likely chance of a higher low would form. And the way I see it, yeah, I like the look of this area, 146.749. So yeah, UJ very bullish, expecting more upside. I like that area for a buy there, but again, keeping it short and sweet. There is resistance directly above us. Not looking for a big trend here. We have been pushing to the upside for a while in the 15. So the way I look at it is that, okay, we're running out of steam now. Perhaps some downside is going to happen. So just one or two last bullish legs we can capitalize on before we have to start to back off a little bit at resistance. Maybe we might sell off. So hopefully that made sense on the 15 there for UJ. Euro Yen, a market which I really like the look of. I've had this on the watch list for the past 3 weeks, I would say. Ever since we got the clear, clean breakout of this high, it has been on the watch list, and I've been looking for some pullbacks, but unfortunately, just haven't really seen a big enough one. There has been pullbacks, of course. You can see with the bearish days there, but not big enough or to my liking. But not too worried about that, because I still do have expectations of where I'm expecting Euro Yen to get to, which haven't been met yet. 175.3 is, of course, the big one. Massive swing high. Gave us that humongous sell-off earlier. Actually, not. I was about to say earlier this year, last year. And I would expect us to get there. And we've been in a very straight line. But I do think a breather is going to happen soon, because pretty much since the low here, we have been moving in almost a straight line with Euro Yen. So this is probably one of the biggest rallies, continuous rallies you've seen in a long time. I know we had this big sell-off, but This was fundamentally driven as well. You can see the momentum involved here. Here's been like a slow grind high. It's been a while since we've seen behavior like that, to be honest. Probably compare it to something like this here. So it's been one of those type moves, or something like this, which you can see had a massive pullback when it eventually did happen, or something like this, which again had a decent pullback as well. So the fact that we've been so bullish for Euro Yen means that when we do get that pullback, it should be of high quality. And yeah, I'll be looking to try and hold it on for as long as I can, all the way to 175. So staying patient with Euro Yen, just waiting for a good time to pull, waiting for a good pullback to get involved. I like the consolidation here. Spent a few days there before a healthy breakout. I'm keeping a close eye on 169.5 and us getting there. I'm also keeping a close eye on the retest of this high as well, but I don't think we'll have a pullback that big to get there, to be honest. So my attention is a bit more focused on this level. But hey, if we do get a bigger pullback, I'll be there waiting as well. But yeah, 175 is really where I expect price to get to. We still got some distance to cover. If I measure that in pips, still got about 300 there to cover from current price. And if we have a pullback to this area, it's probably going to look more like 500 pips to the upside. Yeah, a little bit more. So I'm liking Euro Yen. It's a pair firmly on the watch list. Really like the price action. Trend looks good. Yen still looks pretty weak. Yeah, get a decent pullback. I think we've got a very high quality opportunity on our hands here, and this could be one of the trades of the year, really, if we could catch this to the high. But yeah, gotta stay patient. And the funny thing is, we don't always get the pullbacks. There is a world where Euro Yen just keeps up being bullish and smacks into resistance as well. So that there's that too. But yeah, bigger pullback. 100% we're going to be looking for some buys to take it back to 175. Just have to be very, very patient. And speaking of the yen pairs in general, Euro Yen by far cleanest trade. I mean, CHF JPY, same situation with that one as well. In fairness, you can see CHF JPY similar trend, absolutely running away with it to the highs, but this one's at all-time highs. So it's not attractive anymore to buy, at least for me anymore. Yeah, I don't like taking buys at all-time highs or taking sells at all-time lows, especially in FX markets. Indices, that's a different story. They tend to keep going high. They tend to have that overall trend to them. FX, not really. Swiss does perform well. I'll give it that. It's been on a humongous trend since 2019, really. So past 6 years, it's been absolutely flying, which is crazy. But yeah, we're all-time high, so I'm not as interested in the buy. I'd rather buy with a target to aim for, which is what we've got with Euro Yen. It's got a target to aim for. And by the way, Euro Yen is nowhere near all-time highs as well. It's actually coming off all-time lows not too long ago, I'm pretty sure. I mean, not really, but it's probably closer to the all-time lows than it is to the all-time highs. So we've still got a lot of upside potential there for Euro Yen, and I think we're likely to see it. So yeah, pretty bullish here for Euro Yen, expecting us to smash into highs. Not as interested with Swiss Yen on the longs, although that can keep going for however long it wants to be honest. I think especially intraday opportunities, Swiss Yen look good because you're not here to try and hold the trade for too long. You're there for the intraday pullbacks, buy it, hold it for the day, get out the market. At the end of the day, maybe if you want to, you can leave a position to run. But the market's already very stretched, so you're not looking for a home run here. It's just, can I keep buying something that's already bullish? Keep buying until proven otherwise, and then we can look at what the next move is likely. But yeah, Swiss at the moment, very bullish. Pullbacks, best way to take advantage of this one. Appreciate that, Yusuf. By the way, guys, if you haven't checked out the Telegram for Zentrix, make sure you go and do that. It's an AI project we've been working on for quite some time now. I'm very excited to launch that and share that with you guys. If you are intrigued, looking to learn how you could potentially use AI to your advantage, especially in the world of trading, whether you're generating automated trading bots, whether you're developing strategies, developing your own custom indicator, refining a strategy, testing a strategy, utilizing AI to benefit, all of those areas and more. Make sure you do head over to the Zenthrix Telegram, more information regarding the project and what there is to offer, and a lot more to come as well, guys. I'll drop the link to the Zenthrix Telegram. So if you're interested, make sure you head over and check it out. And if you are interested in the AI powered signal service as well, which will be paid service in the future, but at the moment, to celebrate the launch, it is completely free. So if you are interested in that as well, there's signals across different timeframes, different markets, different reasons. The AI processes information from different patterns, different indicators, and develops signals for it, as well as reasoning and confidence ratings behind it as well. So if you're looking for some ideas in the market, this signal service can be a very good tool for that. And of course, if you have your own analysis, your own strategy, you can combine it with the two if you're interested as well. But I'll drop the link to that in the chat as well if you are interested in checking that out too. And of course, more information regarding that project in the future, so stay tuned for that. Lighton, no problem. Obviously, CHF looks more attractive. Let's see what happens to the, and again, that's all traders can do. Let's see what happens today. But yeah, I think obviously CHF looks good. I like it. It's a nice break to the upside. I've been looking to buy this one. I did take a loss on this one. Was it last week or the week before? Might be last week, actually. Yeah, I think it was last week. Yeah, I did get stopped out on this move here. Actually, no, it was the week before. It was the week before, 7th of July. But yeah, it's a pair I've been looking to buy a lot. I actually had a couple of buys early in the year. I had a buy over here. And a buy over here as well. Both looking for kind of bigger moves back into this area, which unfortunately hasn't been tested yet. But I like the fact that it hasn't been tested yet because I still expect it to be tested. So in my kind of view, that's an opportunity there. We are likely to do something. We haven't done it yet. That's an opportunity in its own right. Of course, it may not do it. Of course, nothing's guaranteed, but that's such a crazy sell-off there. A lot of selling pressure. I expect the market to come back and test that area again. So yeah, looking at a lot more upside for Aussie CHF. This one looks interesting, especially intraday. I'd say if we continue the test of this level, strong rejection, that could be a smart buy on a lower time frame. And then push back into that area of supply there. Makes a lot of sense to me. Then we'll go from there because, like I said, we are still pretty consistent with these lower highs. You've got somewhat of a bearish trend line here as well. You know, there is a possibility a lower high does form here. And we just continue our bearish path here and see some new lows. So got to pay respect to that bearish trend line and the bearish channel as well. But yeah, we'll see how Aussie Swiss gets on. We do need to see some weakness with the CHF though. 10 pound CHF. So yeah, this is actually looking pretty bearish, to be honest. The thing with pound CHF is that we're nowhere near all-time lows. Well, I say we're nowhere near all-time lows. We are somewhat near the all-time lows. Actually, these are not the all-time lows, are they? Yeah, they're not. The all-time lows are there. So actually, I was right. We're nowhere near the all-time lows. But the recent all-time lows, and we haven't been here since 1970. So you can probably not pay too much attention to that right now. This is more kind of reasonable price action to pay attention to. But yeah, pound CHF still a very bearish market. It has been consolidating for quite a while. There is significant support to our left over here. So being a little bit cautious of that could be an area which does take us to the upside. I feel like if we do break this area on the monthly chart, then we will just see price drop into the low there. So definitely pay attention to this area of support. definitely an area to keep a lot of focus on. But at this moment in time, with the way price is looking, it looks to me that pound CHF is going to keep falling at least to come back and retest that support level. And then we'll go from there. Maybe you bounce, maybe you break out, maybe you start to consolidate. We'll monitor price action when we're there. But as I drop to the 4-hour chart, all I'm seeing is bearish momentum. I actually quite like the consolidation we have above us here. Very nice drop, consolidation, drop. You could argue that it's a bit of a consolidation as well. But we haven't really had a retest of this area. So price would be kind enough to pull back, retest that area. I think that's a smart place to look for entries. And then you got yourself a very nice move back into the support level. I think it's something a bit more intraday to look out for. Keep an eye on that consolidation there as well. Price might pull back into this and then short there as well. So you got your numerous lower highs. I think this could look good. Maybe an hourly chart, to be honest. Maybe a nice double top could form. Respects the high, takes an entry there. I think that could actually print a very nice opportunity, and then away you go. So if you're looking for something a bit more intraday, you've got an opportunity here to keep an eye on. If you're looking for a bit more of a swing trade, which you can hold for a few days, maybe a couple of weeks if things go very well, this could be something you pay attention to as well. So depending how much of a pullback we see, I think there's an opportunity for both kind of ideas here. But in terms of direction, momentum's in the market. I think there's a strong chance we do get back to support there. Which, again, a bit of a contradiction because Aussie CHF, we're talking about some buys for that one, possibly push up. Pound CHF, we're talking about some sells. But then again, pound has been very weak. Aussie has been a little bit strong, especially after the rates last week. We did see some strength there. But yeah, that's why I'm still a bit skeptical of Aussie CHF in terms of us being bullish right now. We very much might see a rally, but we might still kind of fail and come back down again. And of course, CHF needs to be weak if it is going to rally. But yeah, pound CHF to me is looking pretty bearish, and I think more downside is looking very likely at this moment in time. And for the most part, pound's looking pretty weak. Another pound pair which I'm keeping an eye on for some more shorts is pound CAD. We haven't spoken about pound CAD today, but it's a pair that does interest me. I think for now this is still a nice place for a buy. As I mentioned on the weekly analysis, I think this is still a nice place for a buy. Another reason why it's still a nice place for a buy is because the overall trend is still to the upside. But I'm calling out pound CAD. I don't think we've got much left to the upside here. The fact that we ran into highs and rejected it as aggressively as we did here, for me, that's a very, very strong rejection. And the way I see it, I do think price is running out of steam and perhaps getting to a top here. So if I can see price go and break through the lows, pull back from a lower high, I'm looking to short that, to be honest, because I do think there's a big relief to be had with pound CAD. Similar with pound USD as well. That's due a bit of a move down. Pound CAD, pound USD most of the time do the same thing. So if pound USD does drop, I think pound CAD will follow suit. And then, to be honest, I'll just keep an eye on both, see which one gives me the better trade. But for now, it's still an uptrend, and this could still be an area which gives us a nice bounce. But that's about it. That's kind of all I'm expecting. A nice bounce. Then if you can get the break of structure, take out these lows, that's when I'll well and truly shift bearish. Then I'll be looking for the next lower high somewhere, a retest somewhere to short, and maybe start to target some of these lows here and maybe further as well. So I'm bearish on pound CAD once this low goes. Then I'm looking for lower highs similar to pound USD. I'm bearish on pound USD once this low goes here. So if you can break through that, then I'm looking at lower highs to short. And yeah, to take to the downside. But of course, there might be some short-term buys here to eye up. I'm not going to overlook that. I think this is still a very quality level of support. Last time we were here, massive run to the upside. So yeah, it definitely could be an area which keeps us bullish. So keep an eye on that. I'm expecting a bounce, but nevertheless, that could still be worthwhile to trade. And then, yeah, if we do see price smash to the downside, break the support, break the floor, then, yeah, the lower highs look good. And, of course, that kind of plays into the idea that pound is still pretty weak. And the weakness across the board, pound yen's not performing too well. Pound CAD seen some downside, pound USD, pound CHF. Of course, euro pound's absolutely flying there, but of course that is you got euro to help with that as well. But pound's been very weak too. I'm missing any pound pairs. Pound Aussie that collapsed last week, big push down. Pound NZD hasn't done too much. Pound NZD, I'll say that, but it was a bit bearish last week. But for the most part, it's pretty flat. But yeah, pound's quite weak at the moment. Not really seeing major signs of it slowing down either. So I think shorts and pound pairs might be a nice play for the upcoming days, and hopefully I can get into one of them, mostly pound USD or pound CAD. I think there's some nice opportunities there. But yeah, as for my watch list for the week, I'll quickly run through that because I actually haven't gone through the watch list yet. But for the watch list, in terms of the yen pairs, Euro yen absolutely number one here, keeping a very close eye for a buy. Analysis for me pretty straightforward here. Massive breakout of resistance, looking for us to simply return to the next level. Looking for the retest of this brief consolidation, brief range, which gave us the last run. I like the retest of this area, but I just don't see us having that much of a pullback. But keeping a close eye for the buys there. At the moment, Euro yen's the only yen pair which I'm really eager to try and get involved with. Not a big fan of any other yen pairs. Pound yen, like I said, not a big fan of this one until we get maybe a big break to the upside. Then I'll be more interested. CAD yen, there might be some buys in the pullback, but it just doesn't look anywhere near as good as Euro yen. You can see this is so much more corrective as well. So yeah, I'd rather just put all my eggs in the Euro yen basket. In terms of USD pairs, nothing quite yet, but there are pairs which I'm looking to add to the watch list if I can see my requirements met. So for pound USD, I'm looking for a break of the channel and some shorts. Let me just clean up the chart a little bit. So yeah, looking for the break of the channel and some shorts. We've technically got the break, just need us to keep going really, take out the lows here too. Euro USD, another pair which I'm interested in. If it can break the channel well, I'm looking to short that as well. Perhaps maybe push back into resistance there. Nice head and shoulder pattern. That looks like an absolute beautiful opportunity, but the break is important. Aussie dollar, still looking for the same pattern as I've been doing for the past easily 3 weeks now. Retest of the upper end of the channel. Hopefully you can see a nice rejection. Again, the plan really is just look to see if I can short it to the lower end of the range. Maybe I capitalize on a bigger breakout. We have to wait and see, but at least the push below the range will make a load of sense. And that's it for the USD pairs. As for silver, this makes its way lovely onto the watch list as well. Lovely breakout, of course, recently. I'm looking for some type of kind of flag pattern up here because there's a lot of momentum, so I'm not too sure if we see the retest of this level. Maybe we do, so it still is an interest of mine. A pullback into 37.28, but I think with the momentum, maybe some type of flag pattern. We've got 40 just above our heads there, so loving the momentum here with silver. Clear as day, only looking to buy the market. Silver firmly on the watch list. In terms of the crosses, I'm keeping an eye on pound NZD, just because it hasn't really got going yet. Of course, pound Aussie was a pair I was looking a lot last week, but I did get out the trade early, unfortunately. But pound NZD is a similar pair to pound Aussie, and I expect both to do the same thing. I'm expecting both to break lower. So the goal with pound NZD is, can we get another push into resistance, another strong rejection, and then some shorts there. Just basically looking to trade to trade the range really. Nothing overly complicated. I have my reasons for why I do expect the price to break lower. In terms of the entry, in terms of just finding a good trade, resistance has been performing so well. That's where I really want to find my entries. Nothing more than that. And then in terms of pound CAD, I'm keeping a close eye on pound CAD as well. Similar reasons to pound USD, looking for a break lower high shorts there as well. Might be some nice buys off there. I'm not really so interested with the buys because I do think the sells are the bigger the move, but of course intraday I think there could be some decent buys there. But I'm also just waiting for price to break lower and get some lower highs in. And that is about it, to be honest. That's about it in terms of the pairs I'm interested in. I don't think I've missed one out. No, I don't think so. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Have a great day as well, my man. Hopefully we'll see you on the stream tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of it with the pairs I'm looking at. I think the main kind of focus really now for a lot of pairs is DXY, and especially tomorrow. Let's keep an eye on that, ladies and gentlemen, with the CPI. I think it's tomorrow, isn't it? Or was it Wednesday? Yes, tomorrow. Tomorrow, 1:30 UK time, USD CPI. That's kind of the big one in terms of dollar. Because at the moment, we're looking very corrective, and it looks like we're crying out for a bit of a catalyst to get the ball rolling. At the moment, market looks very, very flat, and it's waiting for something to get us on its way. And whether it is going to be a break higher or break lower is yet to be seen. Like I said, I'm not so interested with the shorts, but if we do break the counter trend line well, I think there will be a nice swing back to these lows here. If you break to the upside, that's where pound USD, Euro USD, even pound CAD really gets involved as well. I think maybe tomorrow afternoon is where we get our answer to that 130 CPI. So my eyes will be peeled on that event there. But as for this week, I feel like it's going to be a very important week in terms of direction in general. Are we going to continue with this channel, or is it time for us to reverse? I think it's time for us to reverse, so that's where I'm looking to position myself, but we'll wait and see. But USD is looking very, very important. As for the indices, I haven't really spoke much about them. But yeah, they've been interesting. US 30 still very bullish. Haven't quite made all-time highs yet. I still think we're likely to go and do that very, very soon. So I think buys look good. We've found ourselves coming back into a nice area of demand. In fact, this looks like a great area for a buy. I think it's a smart place for a buy. If price starts to break through that, we can hold our hands up, step back from that. But I think this is a great place for a buy. The way I see it, this looks like a big range, and effectively you're buying at the low. So a great place to position long, especially intraday. But US 30, I think the buys look good, especially because S&P and NAS have already seen all-time highs. They've already done the job. If anything, it's time for these guys to pull back soon. Yeah, I mean, I want to short them just yet. And for NAS 100, same situation. New all-time highs made quite a while ago, becoming a bit more corrected now. Still bullish, still probably likely to see more upside, but yeah, we'll expect to pull back soon. And you've got the DAX, which the DAX, big correction there. I mean, it did its job, to be honest, at creating new all-time highs, but a bit of a sell-off, an aggressive one. I'll be a bit more careful with the buys now, because we are still bullish, but that was a very aggressive turnaround. It looks like a V-shaped pattern to me, inverse V-shaped pattern. Might still find support here, but we might still see some more downside, so I would be careful about buying the DAX at the moment. Of course, BTC I haven't spoken about, but that's looking exceptional right now. Smashes 120k. You know, what's stopping BTC right now? 125, only a stone's throw away. 130, not too far. BTC is performing very, very well. Ethereum, it has been looking pretty bullish. It has seen a pretty big move, but I think there's more to come. Other smaller cryptocurrencies performing very well as well. So might be of a crypto season at the moment here. And I think maybe some dollar weakness might help that out. But we have seen times where BTC and dollar are both strong, and BTC's outperforming the dollar as well. So that can happen too. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at for today, the start of the week. Of course, I will be live again throughout the week, guys, from Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, pop in, come say hi, come chat with us, and have a good time. But yeah, really appreciate you tuning into another stream, guys. It really does mean a lot to me. You guys, talking to me, chatting with me, make the stream for what it is. So I'm really grateful for that. If you have found it useful, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Again, really appreciate you tuning in. Check out Zentrix if you haven't done so already. I've dropped the link to the Telegram for both the community Telegram and the Signal group if you're interested. Learning with AI, seeing how AI can improve your trading and take it to the next level in different areas, developing strategies, indicators, generated custom automated trading bots, which you can just copy into your trading account, and so much more is yet to come. So keep an eye on that as well. But really appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day, guys, and I'll catch you all in the next stream.
Zentrix AI. The advanced AI-powered trading platform for every trader. Everything you need for trading success. Research, strategy, automation, trade signals, all in one platform. Write strategies in plain language. We build the bots. Forex, crypto, stocks, futures. Every market. Let AI do the heavy lifting. Zentrix AI. The future of trading is here. Are you ready?